This stream contains fast flashing images that may affect viewers who are susceptible to photosensitive epilepsy or other photosensitivities. Viewer discretion is advised.
The game has changed. The group stage is over, and 4 Goliaths of Valorant have entered the competition. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Day 5 of Valorant Masters Tokyo, coming to you live from the Tipstar Dome Chiba. I am your host, Yingsu, and joining me at the desk for our very first knockout stage matches, it is Mimi and Bala. How fitting that we have you two here for Loud versus EG.
Playoff time! I'm so hyped for this. It's been a not actually that long group stage. I don't know how we sped through that. It feels like 3 weeks, but it's actually only been like 5 days of show, and we finally get playoffs.
Yeah, and the bracket just feels rigged. Like every one of these first games we're going to get is going to be so good. We have a regional matchup to kick us off. We have EDG after that. It's just going to be so exciting.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second, but first, in case everybody missed that incredibly exciting group stage, let's recap it a little bit, starting with Group A. Now, who would have thought Mimi, NRG, of course, and EDG to make it here?
Yeah, EDG is the big shocker. This group was wild. It started off with 2 very close games. NRG just barely getting it over the line against Na'Vi and doing the same against T1, really only losing Lotus in both of those series. But for EDG, after losing to T1, they go down to the lower bracket and don't lose a single map.
It's just crazy. They go down to lower bracket, 2-0, 2-0. And against Na'Vi, of all people. We sent Na'Vi home first, almost. It's crazy.
I was really hoping that you weren't going to bring that up, Ola. But, I mean, Na'Vi not making it
time we have to bring it up.
Okay, thank you, Mimi.
I'm in as much pain as you are because I love this team, but they just don't look real right now. And EDG look like the truth.
Yeah, they absolutely do. Kong Kong came into this group stage and is immediately just looking like a world-class jet player. The things he does on stage are ridiculous. I think his trash talk game is above everyone else.
Yeah, what I also want to know is, did he have that prepared? Do you think that he was going to whip that out at some point?
You think he knows how to rifle, like, I'd be like, and I'd be like, where's the, I don't know
He
how
was
to
in the
reload
shuttle
that
to
thing.
the venue figuring that one out the whole time.
I think the Odin would be kind of badass if he kind of just went, you know, get that out. But let's look at Group B as well, because I feel like a couple of shocks of that as well. I think everybody had maybe different ideas of who they thought could be making it out, but Bala, in the end, it was DRX and Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, we always have to have in these master events one group that's like, what the heck is going on, and then one group that's a little bit more reasonable, but still not reasonable, because EG over DRX. And I think if you've been watching EG, you're definitely rising your stocks. I don't know how much you would have been rising to expect them beating DRX, though.
Yeah, it was incredible. And for DRX, I mean, their stocks were tanking in this group stage. They went down after this loss to EG. They lose the first map in dominant fashion. It looks like they're going to get knocked out, and they rally back and only barely make it to playoffs. It is a very new narrative for that Korean squad.
Yeah, it was a really interesting battle between the other two in the group as well. ASC, another Chinese team, they got pretty close to taking down Foot, and then Foot rallied back, and they almost take down DRX. And again, they started really strong in that first map of Bind. DRX didn't really look like they knew what they were going to do on that map and weren't looking comfortable with the roster. But DRX is DRX, and they don't lose in group stage.
But this still gives us 2 really exciting teams into playoffs. And EG, who is yet to drop a map at Masters Tokyo, and a DRX who, it's the question of, can they recover? Can they look like the DRX we've had at global events in the past? Or is this shaky self the new them?
I mean, the craziest things is that even though the group stage for us, it was such high level of Valorant and a lot of great narratives, things are about to get harder, because the 4 best teams, the #1 seeds, plus of course Fnatic, who were the 2nd seed coming out of EU, they haven't even played yet, and we got this group draw, Bala. We're finally gonna get to see some of these crazy games, and for me, we gotta talk about Fnatic versus NRG. We got here at last.
Absolutely. I think a lot of these you might think get harder, but it's also also kind of just like repeat regional matches, HyperX, DRX. You're right. I think the one to look at is that Fnatic NRG game. We haven't seen Fnatic yet. We haven't seen really what they're going to be having prepped, because so long throughout the regional split for them, we were wondering, when is the new Fnatic coming? When is that upgrade from Lock-In coming? Do they even need an upgrade?
Yeah, and also in that bracket, we have TL versus EDG, and you heard after EDG qualified, the players were talking about the team we want to play is Liquid. Kang wants to have a matchup, or it was Chichu actually, wants to have a matchup against Nats in that game, so that one should also be insane. Fnatic as well, not coming in as the first seed like you mentioned, which I think adds another pressure and another bit of excitement to that opening match for them.
I think we lean into the memes of HyperX, DRX. We got to lean into it once a year at an international tournament, 2021, 22, now 2023. They got to face each other. Yeah, but let's take a look at the social media reactions from the players and coaches themselves. We'll start with Fnatic versus NRG. They have never faced each other before. Chet and Mini have never stood on that stage against each other, which I think is crazy. As you guys can see, for those of you that don't know the back of Lock-In, Bala, you know, Boasted went on the rampage of tweeting that every team he was going to go up against is expected to win this event, and he cursed every single one.
I don't know what it was for Fnatic at Lock-In. Was it the power of Boaster's tweets, or was it the power of the bandana? I really don't know.
He doesn't have the bandana anymore.
He lost with it. He lost with it too. Yeah,
it's cursed at this point. But for Chet as well, just immediately countering with a curse of his own. Who knows? Who's more powerful?
It's the prep diff, I think, prep diff. But let's take a look at EG as well. We have some reactions from Ethan and Demon One. Mimi, what do you make of this? Oh no, we don't have Demon One or Ethan. We have DRX. Excuse me, DRX versus HyperX.
But probably pretty much the same reaction from them as well. Like, come on, guys. Again, they've played this match so many times.
You know what's so silly about it, though? In the last 3 games that they've played, they're going to be different rosters every single time. You have no idea. It's ridiculous, because something probably isn't going to be able to make it for the first game tomorrow between them.
Yeah, and as we move on to the next reaction, I believe we have the EDG one, which apparently I think they were too busy gaming and too busy just being Giga Chat here. They didn't actually really react to it. But maybe we do have some an emoji from that.
An emoji?
Yeah.
He loves hashtags more than any other player I've ever seen. Like, every one of his tweets has like 3 times the hashtags as the actual content.
It works. Look,
it works.
85K views. Better than EDG.
Doing numbers.
I mean,
I just got to get on the hashtag. He's only got 40K.
We're gonna roll it back about to Demon One and Ethan as well, because we didn't get to show you guys that. But I love how Demon One just completely ignored Loud and
so
tweeted,
funny.
"Let's meet in the final circle."
He doesn't even care about Ospas. That's crazy.
He's already proved himself for Ospas in that battle so many times. Yeah, it's funny though, because Demon One is that guy. He just literally goes at the opposing best players in the world, right? Doesn't care where he's at in that hierarchy, doesn't care about anybody but that might be below him. He just like, that's my target. Durka, you're next. I'm going for it.
Yeah, we're gonna head to a break here, but when we come back, we're gonna dive into our first match of the day, which is Loud versus EG. talk about our first match of the day between Loud and EG. You guys, Americas, you know, VCT Americas, you're very, very familiar with this, Mimi. In fact, this is a well-seasoned rematch of a rematch of a rematch.
Yeah, this is the third time since the start of the year that these two teams have played against each other. But the thing is, well, you look at that and you think, oh, Loud's going to be dominating in all of them. And they did win both prior matchups. EG has gotten the map every time, and they've played quite competitive games.
Yeah, I normally, you know, when we start getting this deep into the rematches and whatnot, I'd be like, I'm getting kind of sick of this. But no, I'm not. Loud continuously is one of those teams that you just want to watch no matter who they're playing. And EG is on this miracle run right now. And we're also getting increased stakes every single time we get to see these two teams play.
I mean, this is the thing, though. Loud, for those of you at home that haven't been watching VCT Americas, they were strong at Locking and Baller. They continue to be extremely strong at Americas and are undisputedly one of the best, if not could be the best team in this tournament.
Yeah, 100%. They won that regional tournament. They won America's League. They've still never lost regionally, and continuing forward, I think this team still hasn't really lost in playoffs until grand finals when they make it there. So it's a formidable team, and honestly still should be considered one of the favorites for this tournament.
Yeah, and to recap their year thus far, from changing 2 players, adding to East Cowan scene, and revamping their roster, they go into Lock-in, they make it to the finals, they almost beat Fnatic with a reverse sweep and lose in tragic fashion, but then they turn it around, come to Americas, start dominating, and continue that regional dominance that they had back in Brazil into Americas as well.
And do you expect them to dominate here at the playoff stage, too?
I 100% do. Again, that thing that I said, it's them going through, starting playoffs, almost always getting like berths like this pretty easily into the playoffs too. And you don't really think that Loud is going to change anything. They just come out in really strong form no matter what circumstances they're put in either. They've had moments where they've had, you know, one player off stage playing remotely when Aspas was really inexperienced as well. And they always have at least 2 or 3 players who are just firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this. Loud, they are in the building right now, and HyperX even managed to catch up with their in-game leader, Sadak. Check this out.
Sadak, if I can stop you for just a second. Well, obviously, welcome to Tokyo. Debut game here. How much, I guess, in terms of the international stage, you guys looking to put Lock-in behind you?
Oh, well, last time was a really sad experience. We hope we get even further and make it to first place. But, you know, just grabbing some W's now, focusing on that and hope the best.
Awesome. Well, good luck today, man.
They're definitely going to be shooting for that trophy. But speaking of Sadak, as you guys remember, at the playoff stage, him, Aspas, the Loud team in general, Mimi, they changed things up. We saw the chamber from him, of all people.
Yeah, from the beginning of the group stage and back in Lock-in, Loud has been one of the teams at the forefront of innovating the meta. I think they're really the squad that defined the double controller, Harbor Viper meta that we've seen, and they were so good at it throughout Americas. But when we got into playoffs, when we got Bind and Fracture as well into the pool, they continued to be the team on top of innovation. They're adding new compositions, they're switching, putting on Aspas on the Neon for the first time in the seasons. I think what makes Loud so good isn't just their ability to be the forefront of the meta, but to define it and then continue to add new things.
Yeah, I think the interesting part about like defining this meta for Loud is I expected them to continue to, you know, lean into that Harbor Viper sort of thing, but they also are not doing that. They're adding different things, and I think that speaks to how everybody else is kind of doubting that idea, especially the other regions, Pacific, EMEA, are both regions that say, I don't really want to play the Loud style. And because of that, Loud is kind of shifting things around.
It's not just that, though. The individual brilliance, Bala, as well on this team is kind of insane. They could be even some of the best in slots in their roles, and Les, I feel like, is one of those players that we have to talk about.
Oh, absolutely. And this guy's relatively flexible, but, you know, the Sentinel on this team is insanely good. When he plays that Viper, when he plays in lurk roles, when he plays in roles where he's part of the pack, and then also adding the ability to IGL and lead in mid-round. You heard about the Americas Grand Finals where the guy is really coming up with some of the early round ideas and allowing this team to have some of those. I mean, when you talk about meta, it's people like him who are able to add things like that because everybody's thinking on their feet.
Yeah, and I think in his current form, Les is the best player in his role right now. Playing on the Sentinel, the Lurker, on the Killjoy, or the Viper normally, he has been incredible on that role. He was the second best or first best statistical player throughout Americas. In playoffs, he got even better. And when he comes to international events, that performance tends to elevate. When you watch him play, you just see such an innate understanding of timings when he's lurking. It feels like he's always finding that perfect gap and coming to his team, finding the call around it to give Loud the advantage. And his mechanics as well are just ridiculously
Some of the best
clean.
crosshair placement out of anybody. I mean, like comparing him directly to Sugetsu, who plays a very similar role to him. He finds success and finds the timings to stay alive for so long that adds so much value in any situation.
I'm so glad you spoke about form, Mimi, because if we're going to talk about form, I feel like EG defined that word right now, Mimi. They didn't drop a single map at the group stage. Do you think that's going to continue going up against an opponent that they haven't taken down yet?
I don't know. I can't really see EG stopping. Their momentum right now is ridiculous. But if there was a team to put it down, it would be Loud, who has done it twice before in Americas. However, their run has been so impressive. After taking a miracle to get here to Tokyo, they showed up in the group stage and just showed perfection. Everything that made them good in Americas, they continued here. There was no new added pressure. It's just perfection from them.
Yeah, when you give them a second lease at life in some of these instances, whether it may be, you know, a coach getting a knife or anything like that, they use that and they run with it. And you could see the moments for them when they qualify for playoffs, for example, right here, it means a lot to them. And they always come out swinging so hard and give us surprises. Remember, they started out playing against NRG, who they just lost to in America's playoffs, beat them, then beat Cloud9, who's one of the teams that everybody's like, yeah, this team's a lot for Tokyo, for sure, after the regular season, which was insane. And they do it in a way that you don't know how far they can go. It's always like that.
It's so difficult not to root for them as well, I feel like, especially if you hear the things that Com was saying to Golden Boy in the post-match interview after they qualified for playoffs. Take a look at this.
Y'all were watching MIBR in your practice room without your fate in your hands, and now you are in full control of your destiny. You're first seed coming out of this group. You're dominating the competition. Brother, I just gotta ask, how does that make you feel?
I mean, you go from devastated to overwhelmingly excited, so I don't even know how to feel right now. Honestly, I feel like breaking down and crying, but on the other hand, you know, I keep control of everything.
Keep it composed.
You know?
Yeah, guys, stay hard for the camera, dude. You know what I'm saying? Of course, man.
I mean, we talk about Cinderella stories in Valorant, and I feel like we have one of these similar to EG every single year. And Mimi, we're all on board this train for a reason.
Yeah, how can you not be? Like you're saying, right? They're just so likable, right? When they're up there on stage, they're smiling, they're laughing with their teammates. Every single one of these guys is continuing to level up in playing the biggest game of their career, and then the next biggest one right after that. And it doesn't seem like it's getting to them whatsoever. They're still having just as much fun as they were back in Americas.
Yeah, and I think that lovable thing makes it really easy for them to have these positive moments. But one thing about their style that's really nice is they constantly have these ideas where they're going to trap you. They're going to use the tools at their disposal to stop you in your tracks. And if you guess right, if they guess right, which oftentimes is coming off of fantastic reads out of Com's util, then you're going to get punished so hard.
And what they're so good at is having preset stuff, like the one you just saw there, that's a pre-round call, but also making little calls on the fly, using their ultimates to support teammates really quickly. Here, Busio is in a really bad position, anchoring site, but instantly, Com is ripping his Sova ult to stop players to swing, to trade out Busio on the site, and he eventually falls, but it puts him in this good position. And again, EG have another idea in the mid-run. They combo the dart, they combo the nade to fast retake into this one, and then use Jojimo's ult to flood. They're so proactive in the mid-round at seeing an opportunity and instantly acting upon it. And you compare that to EG at the beginning of the season, and those protocols and on-the-fly ideas have just improved so much. They're looking like probably the most creative team in Tokyo right now.
And Jogamo in the final moments of that clip, by the way, commend him for that movement on the Raze as well. He is looking like one of the best Razes that have stepped on the stage so far in this tournament, and it's because of moments like that. I'm really excited to watch him go head-to-head against Auspas, especially if we get like a bind or something like that.
Well, you guys heard from Sadak already from Loud. It's time to hear from the other IGL in this matchup. It's Busio on his way here to the arena.
Busio, if I can grab you real quick for a second, man. Insane stuff so far here in Tokyo. Almost playing with house money at this point. What's going to take to stop you guys?
I don't really know. I think I'm just going to drop 40 again and just shed on him. So.
Fair enough. Short and sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. He's been doing it thus far.
He's
I
not
love
lying.
Bucio. That dude is so funny. He's just so, I don't know, matter of fact in some of these instances.
This is the thing, though, because like you said, Mimi, they stepped up so much. They look like a different team compared to the team that we saw in the beginning of the Americas. But how much do you think that they have improved since the last time they faced Loud specifically?
It's interesting. I don't think they've actually massively improved since then. I think some of the players have stepped up individually, but really, I think they were hitting their peak when they played against Loud for the first time. And in that moment, they still weren't able to take them down. But they did beat Loud on their best map on Ascent during that time.
Yeah, they added, I mean, there was only 2 teams who had beat them on Ascent at that point, and EG has their name with Fnatic and Optic or NRG's core. It's crazy. I think, for me, when I think about their improvement, I agree with you that it's not necessarily like improvement holistically about the strats or any of the ideas or any of the players really even achieving peak form. I think they constantly find this room where they're in a chemistry mind meld with each other that it's hard to find. And when you get to like the upper bracket final against Loud the last time, that's where you kind of run out of steam. You've achieved your goals. Here, though, I think their goal is going to be to go as far as possible, and there's no more of that qualification area where you run out of motivation.
And I think for EG also, what's defined their improvement is playing to the same style, but just adding new little things. I think that's something about both these teams. Even when they're running the same composition, you'll see them between maps, between matches, coming up with a new idea, a new little thing to add into the mix. And I'm sure a big reason for that is the IGLs of both of these teams, who, on top of calling their squad to great heights, have been playing insane individually.
These 2 guys I would love to continue to watch almost every single series go head-to-head against. And I really want to see Bucio continue to have to duel against a IGL like Sadak, like Finesse, some of those moments, because that's where I think Bucio needs to improve a little bit more. He thrives in the chaos more than anything else.
Yeah, he absolutely does. And Sadak, I think, thrives in these big games, on the big stage. In the finals of Americas, he had like the best series he has had in a while. He was the MVP of the Grand Finals in Americas as the IGL, the guy that people don't talk about when they're talking about individual form for this squad.
Yeah, and I also want to talk about the coaching staff behind both of these teams as well. We've credited Potter a lot, you know, the in-game pauses, the way that she's been able to add the impact she has on the team. But on the other side, Mimi, I think is a similar story too.
The players have so much respect for Fraud, and his journey to make it to Loud is insane. From only speaking Spanish to immersing himself in Brazilian culture, learning Portuguese to take the job to help this team and bring his veteran experience to Loud, I think has continued to level up a squad that was already at championship caliber.
Yeah, I love as well whenever these 2 coaches step on the stage, Potter versus Fraud. I mean, both legends in the same scene, which is so much fun because I think they respect each other as well, right? And I love that you mentioned Fraud on the side of the Brazilians, like being able to actually get from there from the North American legend that he is to then play in Brazil with this team is crazy because they have such history as well. So it's what a battle it is.
I mean, let's hear more from the players of Loud themselves, and check this out, everyone.
Eu acho que a performance que a gente teve no VCT Américas foi uma performance muito boa, olhando pelo lado das coisas que aconteceram, porque quando a gente chegou aqui nos Estados Unidos a gente teve muitos problemas, a gente teve uns altos e baixos também, alguns dias ruins de treino, coisas assim, e mesmo assim a gente conseguiu se recompor, arrumar o que estava dando errado e acabou conseguindo ganhar no final.
Foi uma liderança difícil porque pela primeira vez eu me encontro jogando com jogadores muito jovens e faz que algumas coisas sejam muito fáceis e outras coisas sejam mais difíceis.
Para mim tem sido uma jornada muito boa, porque eu estou jogando com pessoas muito experientes, então eles têm me ensinado bastante e ao longo desse VCT no Américas eu aprendi muita coisa e convivendo com eles eu consegui ter uma rotina muito boa.
Eu acho que quando estava sozinho pancada, a gente tinha profissionais mais experientes, né? Então tínhamos era muito mais fácil a gente lidar com o time porque todo mundo tinha muita experiência prévia. E agora eu me encontrei um pouquinho mais sozinho, em um sentido, mas ao mesmo tempo foi muito emocionante porque eu contei com uma comissão técnica muito mais adulta e experiente e eu contei também com o Les, que o Les também chegou a ser uma força muito grande nesse time como segundo líder, então são experiências totalmente diferentes.
Cara, com certeza sem o Sodak eu não estaria nessa posição, por conta que no passado ele já jogou nessa posição que eu jogo, que é jogando mais de Sky, jogando mais com boneco de mais de iniciador. Então ele já sabe muito de como jogar nessa posição, então ele me ensinou bastante coisa sobre isso. E tudo que eu tenho aprendido, não tudo, né, mas bastante coisa que eu tenho aprendido foi por conta dele, sabe? Então é isso, eu agradeço muito ele.
Eu acho que uma das coisas que eu posso dar créditos pra mim do que eu tô fazendo tá dando certo é o fato que eu tô literalmente jogando o jogo o tempo todo. Todos os dias eu treino, saio do treino, vou jogar, antes do treino eu jogo também. Então o tempo todo eu tô praticando e tentando melhorar, saber coisas novas que eu posso fazer, tentar mudar o meu estilo de jogo para certos times e tá sempre variando nas coisas para tá sempre surpreendendo o time inimigo.
Eu acho que isso é uma declaração muito forte, falar que eu sou o melhor IGL, porque muito trabalho em time, realmente. Eu tomo as decisões, mas eu não tomo as decisões sozinho. Pode ser que minha palavra seja final, mas eu tenho muitas pessoas que me ajudam por trás. E também, se não fosse pelo talento dos meninos, eu não estaria onde estou. Então, realmente, falar isso eu não acho verdadeiro. E também tem muita coisa por aprender ainda, então é isso. Eu sinto que a rivalidade que a gente tem contra a Energy quizás um pouco mais grande, porque eu sinto que os nossos times são muito parecidos. Tiveram a mesma mudança de jogadores, a mesma quantidade de jogadores, e a gente chegou na final, jogamos na final, foi o único time que nos ganhou na fase regular, então eu sinto que é uma rivalidade muito forte. Pode ser que se esteja formando uma nova contra a Fnatic, mas o tempo vai falar, né? Vamos ver.
Cara, eles são um time muito bom. Obviamente, gostinho de vingança sempre tem pra gente querer ganhar deles, porque a nossa derrota foi algo um pouco triste pra gente, né? Então a gente quer vencer deles. Mas não é algo assim que a gente tá focando no campeonato do Master Tokyo, que a gente quer vencer eles porque eles ganharam da gente numa final, sabe? A gente tá levando isso como se fosse mais um jogo. Se for pra vencer, a gente vai vencer. Se for pra perder, a gente vai perder, sabe? Então a gente só vai jogar. Acho que é isso.
It's so cool to see the relationship between all of them continue to grow. Sadak actually looks like the father now. He continues to talk about the experience with the young players. It's so fun.
It is very fun. Do you know what else is fun? This announcement I'm about to make. There is a bit of news that we got to talk about. Team Deathmatch is coming to Valorant. Check this out, everyone.
Sure, it was heroic sacrificing myself for the team like that. But does that make me a hero? Maybe. Who can really say?
Yeah, for sure, man. So where is this legendary Max bot?
What's left of him is right over there. Nice catch, mate. He's a good little min-bot now. Do you like that?
Yeah, I get it.
Oh, come on, Gecko.
Hilarious.
Let the games begin.
Yo, it's filthy in it. KJ, Raze, what happened to your robo cleaner?
What? That's not important. Get to the bottle room. Now.
Yeah, I'm on my way. Damn, you couldn't even wait for me.
This should be fun. Greetings, agents. I am MaxBot. Remember, I am the effect, not the cause.
It seem like a meteorite. Flame on my hand and I keep it alive. Pass me the torch and I'm here to ignite. Believe in myself, I ain't leaving this fight.
You had your fun. Now it's my turn.
You can't take what I got, and I ain't gonna stop.
It's all you, little homie. Here comes the party.
Shall we go again?
Oh, I can't wait for that. But first, we got to see if our group stage teams can take on the teams in the playoff stage. The knockout stage on Master Tokyo starts right now.
グループステージが幕を閉じ、新たな4チームが戦いの舞台に上がる。
I think it's gonna be easy to beat the RX again. We just play like ranked. Remember?
常識を覆すチーム、ペーパーレックス。その混沌としたアプローチの中心には、互いへの信頼という強い柱が立つ。
Okay, let's get guys.
勝ち進むチームには、再戦のチャンスが待ち受ける。今では VCT の頂点に立つ者も最初は目立たぬ存在だ。
Eu comecei a competir no VALORANT na Argentina. Eu sabia que estava que eu precisava para chegar a um torneio internacional e conseguir ganhar. Então, o destino, a vida me guiou para o Brasil.
ラウド、IGL サダーキーのリーダーシップがルーキーたちをチャンピオンへと育て上げた。
Eu quero ver que os meninos crezcan, eu quero ver que eles den tudo de sí.
Tournaments I have left in me.
ボースター、リーダーらしからぬリーダー。朗らかな言動の下には VCT の厳しい試練で鍛えられた王者の不屈の魂が潜んでいる。今再び栄光の頂に登らんと彼らは挑む。だがどうすることもできない試練もある。
After winning the Masters Berlin, a lot of things changed. It was really tough. I don't want to let this opportunity slip away.
チームリキッドは周囲の疑念にも屈することなく結束し、高みを目指す。VCT の精鋭、チャンピオンでありながら次のレベルを追い求める者たち。
It's time to prove that it wasn't just a random thing. It's time to prove that we are ready to win.
If I go here, destroy everyone.
To close things out.
却嫁到世界之巅。
高みを追い求める心が全てを突き動かす。プレイオフの幕が上がる。
We'll start Loud. You are the higher seed. Would you like Team A or Team B?
Team B.
Okay. So EG, we'll start with your first ban.
Okay, we'll ban Bi.
Okay. And Loud, your first ban.
Girl.
Okay. EG, map number 1.
We'll pick Fracture.
Okay. Side on Fracture.
Defense.
And map number 2.
We pick Ascent.
Okay. Side on Ascent.
Defense.
We're going to go to the next set of bans starting with EG. You have Haven, Lotus, and Split.
We'll ban Haven.
Okay. Your ban, you have Lotus and Split.
We ban Split.
Band split. Map number 3 will be Lotus. EG side on Lotus.
Defense.
Okay, I'm gonna run through this really quick, make sure we're all good to go. First set of bands, we have Bind and Pearl. Map number 1 is Fracture with Loud on defense. Map number 2 is Ascent with EG on defense. Next set of bands are Haven and Split. Map number 3 will be Lotus with EG on defense. Sounds good? Okay, go to both of you.
Good luck.
Evil geniuses. Loud.
A familiar matchup to kickstart the playoff stage. The stakes are so much higher. EG, they made it here in immaculate form, but Mimi in the past, it was always Loud that stopped them.
Twice now, it's been a 2-1 victory over EG for Loud. But EG right now look unstoppable. 4-0 in maps to make it out of the group stage. A miracle to make it to Tokyo, and they just keep going. The question is, now in playoffs, can they reverse history against Loud and continue their run?
Yeah, and now they've had 2 chances to really work at preparing. I'm not going to say they have like a mental block against Loud with only 2 of those series so far, but one thing I'm looking at is in that map veto, it felt like EG, when you're looking at Boostio and Potter's composure throughout that, it felt like they pushed Loud to a map pool. We knew what was going to happen in the first 2, but Lotus is the final one. Loud has only played twice and only once in the regular season.
Yeah, it's going to be something new if we get all the way there, but where we're starting is familiar for both these teams. It's the exact same 2 maps to start that these squads played on last time. Fracture, that's when Loud debuted that new comp, took EG by surprise, beat them on one of their best, but then EG turned it around and became one of only 3 teams in history to take down Loud on Ascent.
I mean, this is the thing though, we are going to head to Fracture first, and ahead of the Prime Gaming Agent select, as you guys have both said, Loud, they've redefined the meta, they bring out something new for playoff stage. Vala, do they bring out something new for Masters Tokyo? Are you anticipating that?
I think for Fracture, no. I think for Fracture, I'm anticipating them going to what was very, very new for them already in playoffs in Americas, which is that neon, Aspas neon type of thing. It's really interesting to me for the rest of this, though. The Fracture and Ascent picks, I think, could be flipped either which way, because EG has already shown prowess on that map in this tournament. They beat DRX on that map, and then as well Ascent, Loud are just consistently so good. Even though they lost it the last time, that could flip either way.
It really could. And in a matchup that I think could very much be defined between Aspas and Demon 1, 2 of the absolute stars from Americas. On map 1, we're going to start off likely with Demon 1 on Brimstone, and with Aspas actually playing the Neon, one of the few maps where he's not locking in that jet.
Well, here it is, the Prime Gaming Agent select, and you hit the nail on the head there, Bala.
Yeah, it's exactly the same sort of thing. Omen Viper, which is very odd. It's kind of like a mix of the Genji comp that was running in Pacific and the Na'Vi sort of stuff that we didn't really get to see much this tournament, but then the Neon too, which Aspas played it so well in his first showing on it.
I think starting on this attack side for EG, where normally they're excellent, 65% win rate here, they really need to watch out for Loud's flood retakes. With this comp, they're really good at popping up that Neon wall, double flashing out, and being super effective at flooding these sites. EG really struggled to shut that down last time these squads played.
I think knowing what is coming, knowing the preparation for both sides, it's going to be really interesting to see that battle. You mentioned, Sue, Potter versus Fraud. The prep matters so much in this engagement.
Yeah, and this is the thing, Loud, they're coming into this tournament into EG's playground. They've not dropped a single map just yet. And I want to send this over to your casters, Pansy and Hypok, and think if EG can pull off another miracle.
Well, miracles may be happening, but we're yet to see. Loud are a nasty opponent to start against. And Mike, This is one of the matchups I have been genuinely so excited about here. But what's got your attention now? What's got you ready for this?
I mean, this honestly is the test of some of the things we were talking about with EG. Obviously, the uptrend in form, sure, but to go against a familiar opponent now in the form of Loud, who we know are terrifying, this is the real test of their confidence, right? It's the test of this form that we're currently seeing here in Tokyo.
And that's the big thing for me as well. The desk kind of saying, maybe it's not a change-up of that form so much from EG, but I gotta say, taking, you know, Lotus against Foot, the way they've been playing has been monstrous. I gotta disagree with the desk there. I think we're seeing an evolution of EG.
For sure, yeah, but Loud coming in with the benefit of a couple of days to watch some games.
Oh.
I've got my on fracture here is where EG ran away with the Protocols game. This utility synergy, constantly catching DRX off guard. Do they get away with the same thing here versus Loud?
That's the question, Demon. One already dealt with. Aspas, perfect start from him. Busio, no opportunity to really trade much off that. It's already cut down in numbers. You're looking for some sort of flex back in from Dish. The timing's great for Busio there. They need to flood out now. Need to get that pressure building from Dish. They try and get to the site. The underhand flash was pretty good from Sadak, but they should still be able to get the plant here.
Will do. Sadak not spotted on the Boombot though. Jorgamo does have a deep position towards spawn, but less there. Guarding it, Jorgamo.
No idea.
Yeah, no idea because of the Boombot.
You're absolutely right there. That's a little devastating for them. Sadak can be grinning it. Yeah, what a shot! Com needs more though. Dart goes out by a couple of seconds. Let's get to challenge. Ethan overwhelms. And now it's just Dewey's. That young gun made a name for himself on this map not too long ago. But can he find these final two? Low HP, yes, but the time is already ticking. Com, heroic performance from the site there as well. Kept them in that round.
Beautiful recovery from EG to stabilize here. After losing D1, probably the most pivotal member of this composition in terms of going for a set execute here on the pistol. Fantastic stuff from Com to flip this back in their favor. And the fault line sets him up for success.
And statistically, we have to know how many of these pistols EG are winning, how many bonuses they've been converting throughout that group stage play. Now, we have to once again highlight, Loud are just a different team altogether. Obviously, those to the international scene may look towards that Brazil result, but you have to remark and note that regular season run coming into this. They were near on infallible the way they were playing. Absolutely monstrous. So I wonder if EG has that same sort of freedom here. We see very light investments, less just a little Sheriff, frenzy with Aspas. We'll see if EG can keep this clean, keep methodical, go through that protocol list.
Sadak actually isolated here with Aspas tucked in behind. Paranoia sent through, but no follow-up just yet.
Surprising, no one tried to shut down that. That felt like a really good chance, but it's less to find Boostio. So first bit of chip damage done, successful for Loud here. Any more to come from it?
Slight upgrade. Les did get tagged up down to 30 HP, but Bulldog in hand. ZG looking to navigate their way towards A site. Loud have the reading on the timing, yeah, especially with a lot of freedom to Les. Is he going to take the rope? He's actually getting behind them.
Yeah, but the timing, they actually might be a little bit deeper towards A main, but again, he will have an opportunity to this. They are going to take a couple of seconds to get that utility down. Close smokes towards the A site. Yes, you're going to have one put back by Tui's, but that's fine. The flank may have lost a little bit of its punch to it because they're still going to be in the post plant. They've all opted to basically sit on site, excluding one. That's Demon 1 here. Stunned up, tries to fall away, find a safer position. Loud and knocking at the door now. Stunned to follow. He's in danger, needs some help. Ethan can't do it. Aspas is there. Loud trying to get dangerous here. Demon 1! Shot and a half! This guy is monstrous! That got so dangerous, Mike. Like, let's talk about what that was.
So well handled. Even with the second stun coming through from Aspas, Demon 1 has to retuck into the corner.
How is he not dead here?
That's ridiculous.
Especially after Ethan falls, right? Like, I thought that was the green light.
It's actually a crucial flash to come through from Ethan to stop Loud from following up on the fault line. Initially, that's when you expect Demon 1 to fall. So well handled.
Old progress-wise as well, Com's pretty close by to his. I mean, Demon 1 not a million miles away. Aspas very close by. Now into the bonus, we have seen statistically EG doing very well here. This one, not going to have as much punch to it, so I wonder if there's a plan in mind that they can maybe hit here. But Loud, let's have a little look as to what they're doing as well.
I mean, Boostio on the Sheriff, they obtained the Hunter's Fury as well, and 3 rifles to work with here, though, so it's not as if they're bringing a couple of SMGs in, Lauren. This is an opportunity to potentially stack up. Especially if they lean towards B, where Loud only have 2 players positioned right now. If they play the trades, this is the best possible situation for a bonus.
Yep. Sadak, though. Probably the first one to really feel that contact coming through. Does have less by his side. 3-play stack over towards 8. Will take a second or two to come into any sort of effective range. And tower controls there. So, speaking of the ult, noted it earlier, Com's going to send it, and it's actually Boostio to find Sadak. Okay, talking about on the site, light work towards less, and Mike, this is gorgeous to watch.
Like I said, they actually identify the site where there's 2 position, and Aspas and County need to find something here, but Boostio stands his ground.
Okay, surely not. No more. What? This is genuinely a treat to watch. These bonus conversions, this gets a full buy from Loud. Note that. This isn't just an eco. This is nothing like the sword. They got 5 standing. They got upgrades galore, and Tui's is on 24 HP. He's dead. EG. There's the Prime Gaming flawless, and that is a call to attention for Loud. They got to wake up.
This is so beautifully set up as well. The Nano Swarm, the Paint Shell, the Aftershock, and then the Hunter's Fury on top of that, posted behind it. EG don't even need to take contact towards Arcade here. The utility combination forces Loud a little deeper. You see here, Sadak just has nowhere to go.
That is a brutal take towards tower. Wow.
What a huge tool to have at their disposal. And
how are you meant to be comfortable in tower ever?
Again, this is invested from so deep as well. Loud can't aggress onto this.
And it's a very short list of those who've pressured Loud, who's taken maps against Loud, and EG are one of those teams here. Very exclusive list. Some of the best that we've seen throughout Valorant thus far, but converting it into a win is a different thing altogether. This is map 1. EG have done statistically what we've been discussing them being exceptionally good at so far. Now, can Loud get a little dangerous? Yes, they can. That's a rifle recovered and a player isolated, and they've read this correctly. Expecting that flex from the other side of the map now, over towards 8. Smoke does go in, but EG looking to disrespect that. They're straight on through.
Aspas does pop the ult, though.
He's a scary man.
There's no second layer to this right now. It's just Aspas on site. He goes 1 for 1. Ethan will find it.
Surprised no one tried to back him up a little bit, maybe put their life on the line to try and facilitate something. But speaking of that, life on the line, Com, just a perfect positioning here to make them so uncomfortable. Yes, there's still 3 alive for Loud, but Com's position is maintaining so much area of this map. Ethan, gonna find it hard to back away from this now, so could get isolated.
Tui's has only just gone and recovered the rifle. 2 Sheriffs in his teammates' hands. Stun comes through, but Jorgamo able to cut line of sight here from Kawanzine. Loud maybe just going to look for a couple of exits here.
Yep, Ethan's going to deny Kawanzine. Jorgo will find Tui's and less. How much more damage can you get? 2 more potential victims. Com's just going to play the timing, doesn't need to overdo this. And it should be hard for Les to really connect something clean here. Yeah, okay. EG navigating the threats in that round, but Loud getting a little bit more dangerous here, round by round. That's much closer.
So, 4 on the board for EG, nice and early, and getting close to some of these key ultimates. Demon 1-2 away from the orbital strike, 1 off the lockdown for Boostio. A Rolling Thunder at their disposal. Loud need to answer back early on in this half.
Yeah, I think if this one gets completely taken away from them, I'm wondering when that timeout hits. Could be
well, again, round 3, they played it very passively. As soon as they got rifles on the board, it was a lot of space conceded to EG. And like we said, the investment of utility in the ultimate was so deep. There's no answer back in for Loud there.
Okay, hearing enough steps, that paranoia is going to send most of EG scrambling. Les trying to buy some time. He's got Tui's by his side as well. This is very nice. And the crunch is on the way. It's just murder of Dish. Beautiful from Loud. Stunning shutdown of that. And Ethan's got nothing to say about the matter. That's the response they needed, and it was clear.
And we'll chip away, force a full repurchase here from EG. Should still be protected, though, in terms of the buy behind this. Again, you can see here on the X-ray how quickly Loud are looking to pinch 3 players. Barrel out of Arcade, but not even necessary.
We have ult-wise. Rolling Thunder lockdown, 1 away from Orbital Strike 2.
The 2 off the Showstopper as well.
Yeah, wow. On the other side, TP's there, not as influential. Couple, only 1 away as well. Less, not too far off, but looks like Loud really prioritizing taking space here. North side is theirs.
EG, though, can they backfill this? They find an advantage on the other side.
You can already see they're coming back around. The lockdown's going to go in from Boostio. Trying to defend this. As Loud looking to get a little closer by to it. Aspas trying to take a little bit of space, but he has to respect it now with only 3 seconds left on the lockdown. EG going to take towards the side, but this is where it gets interesting. Now we start to see that threat coming back through here, and surely EG questioning where the hell these boys
it's
are.
huge.
That is massive! Can Jorgamo shut it down though? Can he close that gap? How far does he go? Loud being corralled around, spots out one, looks for the follow-up, he's got it! This is beautiful to watch! And Loud getting no access back towards this site after that perfect pinch towards the north side. There's nothing to be had. A little overzealous on this one, but it's all effective trades. Ethan still holding so much space here. Les trying to do the dance with him, and he actually has the better moves too. He's now closing on in. But the time's been ticking this entire fight here. Overwhelmed, Les does well, takes down Demon 1. There's a real chance of this one. The smoke's still in play. They got to check on this man. Busio, come, dive in, take down Tui's. And Les knows the round's done. He's got to get out of there. Com and Busio keep himself standing. Com better be ready. Hello, bye-bye. Com caught napping a little here, but EG happy enough with the round.
I mean, this is a beautiful setup. The read is perfect from Loud to come through, pinch on the north side, remove that second wave, I guess, of the lockdown and execute. But the response from EG is beautiful. You can see Jorgamo screaming for the Rolling Thunder to be sent through, and it sets him up to find 2 massive kills. Before Loud have even got a chance to even take back the space in Arcade behind the lockdown.
Yeah, it was very nicely done. Quick, identifying very quickly what's been going on. Speaking of that timeout, we kind of discussed when do they hit that button? It's now. 5-1, feeling that's enough. We need to get a grip on this game. Pump the brakes a little. Still have a buy in hand here for Loud, so they can at least come in with that weaponry. They'll be fine with that. Ult-wise, as it sits, EG only have that orbital strike there. Yes, 2 away from the Hunter's Fury, but on the other side, you're going to have Sadak very close by with his. They're starting to get a couple of options here, but I want to see what that adaptation is. It looked like map territory gaining was one of the priority pieces, but it hasn't rewarded them as much as they wanted.
I think now they're looking to execute some set pieces here to deny some of the space for EG. Again, we know the utility synergy is the key to EG's success here on Fracture, and they want to remove some of those tools as early on in the round. Problem being, they have to mitigate some of that risk. If they start conceding or even trading out, it doesn't necessarily favor Loud in that regard.
And speaking of not favoring, I think, again, one of the statistics you have to kind of roll your mind back to during regular season for EG as well. Yeah, that's probably part of it. The fact that coming out of timeouts, EG have also been very good when they've been given a directive, right? Like, that has been something that's sat very well with them. Again, I do think Loud have that pedigree there to kind of kick into gear, but they feel like they're slightly behind the curve at this point. I want to see them activate a little more here, get a grip on the game, bring EG back to heel.
Investment out here, but no swing from Loud. I guess the fault lines trade off here. And a slow start to the round coming out of the timeout. Deep progress, yes. It looks like a paranoia set up here from Tui's. Actually sent here on the back of the drone. Cover going up. Popped a little early. And that feels like a win for EG, honestly, to bait that out here and almost get a feel for the set piece or what Loud were trying to accomplish here towards A main. It wouldn't surprise me if Les and Sadak give up a little bit of sight here. Wait for those 3 players to actually set up and come through and flank if the execute onto B does come, Lauren.
So EG will have the green light towards the site. May get a little bit of pressure on the cross, but they should be there. There it is, smokes, and a quick hit. So Jorgamo's going to get there. The strike comes down, clears out tower, but Jorgamo connects towards Les. Sadak with a great trade, and they haven't fully accessed the site. Look at the flank, it's on the way. This is where the danger's going to come in. Busio seems all too aware, but the stun's in. They're in danger. Loud now closing them down. They don't have any safety to fall back to, so they take the fight. And Aspas perfect positioning, punishing 2. Cowan's in there, but Demon 1. He's still alive. A 1v2. He's got to know where Sadak is. Tui's maybe a little bit harder to pin down. He's only got 14 seconds to find this. How much does he get?
10
Jump spot, spots 1. It's not a comfortable plant. He's going to get it down for now. Closing the gap, though. You've got to respect this man. A danger! A danger run through! Demon 1 is in the server. A little absent through groups, but playoffs, he has appeared.
That is disgusting. That is actually disgusting.
Run it back to me. Roll it back to me right now. Because this, I thought this was wraps, Mike. I thought this was wraps.
It should be. I mean, you can see Loud set up. Even at the first smoke being invested, Loud look to execute this flank.
What on earth? You got a smile from Ethan. That's saying something.
Beautiful stuff. You don't often win out those versus Loud.
Them.
No.
Come off it. We do need to take stock at some point. We are sitting at a 6-1 lead for EG here. But Loud getting more proactive, getting a little more aggressive. And I say a little, I mean a lot. Boostio trying to go anti-flash on this, but they just keep on walking. Demon One's gone down, Boostio turns. It's traded out here. Now, EG on the other side of the map going to try and take that space. Loud looking like they just want to get brutal, get aggressive. And they're losing out on these fights here. And the other side of the map's completely open for EG.
Yeah, big gap here for EG to exploit. No command popped as well, so they almost get confirmation of further presence by Loud. Find themselves a free plant, have the Hunter's Fury as well to work with here, and an Aftershock, so if they go for a plant where they can play off both, definitely doable here for EG. Because Loud a million miles away from this as the plant comes through. Lots of question marks on the re-hit here through A main.
This is a little worrying. Now, Com has utility, still 2 shock darts as well. Ethan's got a little bit of kit left too, but he's just posted up on this. Okay, gonna slip back here, enough steps on Com caught just in the middle of no man's land. That's a lot of presence there for Ethan. He's got to be careful. Can he create a little crossfire, maybe with Jorgamo? Maybe a little bit of a pinch on this one. Jorgamo forced to commit to the site. It's Loud working their way back in. Gorgeous clear. And Jorgamo just trying to live behind that smoke. Spots out one, overwhelmed. Loud getting hyper aggressive, Mike.
Yeah, paying no respect to the scoreline right here. Loud barreling onto site. Actually a beautiful pre-fire. I think Comms is completely caught off guard by the pacing, which Loud are just clearing back through A main. Lots of tools available, like I said, but EG opting to leave Com on site, not rely on the Hunter's Fury, and the fault line not really amounting to much.
But even the start of the round was almost bullish in approach, wasn't it? Just that almost overcommit through from B, taking those open challenges, which is traditionally not so favorable, but Loud just kind of going back to hyper-aggression as the answer, which may be enough, right? Disrupt EG early on, force them into unfavorable scenarios, and then just kind of run through them. But EG being humbled a little on the money as well, seeing a Guardian come out here, still able to get most of it by Bulldog with Ethan. Big info early on now.
Just waiting for a tag to come through there. Loud preemptively rotate away from this, or at least one. Cow and Zine will head across towards A site, maybe re-clear through A main. I think this might be Loud's plan going forward. Looking to address the back line as soon as this pressure is felt towards B site.
Yeah, totally different setup now from Loud, isn't it?
I mean, last time Les actually dipped out the smoke, got pinged by the bolt, so Loud's numbers were weakened ahead of that flank even coming into play here. I was going to say, if he's opting for the same thing, or it does just concede some of the space with Sadak.
Yeah, he's starting to respect that here. Not as much information they'd like off the knife, but they're going to be willing to commit that rotation now.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Here comes the counter hit again. So aggressive. Bursting forward. Big tag. 2 tags achieved. Jorgamo tries to make the most of it, but his Aspat still standing. Still does a bit of damage. And now down to 3v2. Numbers in favor of Loud now. All on Jorgamo. This is so much to ask of him. He can't quite get the control. Oh, a valiant attempt from Jorgamo. But Cow and Zine standing on 19 HP. Is the one to do it. This is getting bloody now between these two.
Yeah, and Loud looking to get ahead of the curve actually here with the pre-take on the back of the spike being tapped. And you can see just how chaotic the exchange is here with utility and ultimates being dumped towards site. Maybe here with some of these, I guess, more retake-oriented setups, Loud want to create a little bit of chaos. It's not really taking much investment in terms of utility for EG on the way in. Loud are happy to concede this space if they don't get some tangible information to start the round off, or a first blood, for example.
So that's what the questions will be kind of with this EG timeout now into effect. What are they coming up with now? They've had their money kind of, you know, put back down. They can go for maybe a little half filer, you know, a Shiko coming out or something of that ilk, but it's not going to be massive. So you're looking bigger picture here. Loud have responded first. They were being dictated to initially. Just kind of slip back into their more passive hold towards the B site, playing for the retake. Still having that space being taken over towards A main, so they're still very aware of this. Now, what is that adaptation here from EG? What is that next step and answer for them? It's going to be hard to bring it out here. I doubt it's this round, but following this.
I'm curious if actually if Loud revert back to, if they're not rewarded for this setup in A main, if it is so heavily reliant on addressing the backline, removing Boostio, Demon One, and Com potentially with his utility, and try and get behind some of these B-side executes, how long they actually sit with this 3-man setup towards A main, because it certainly doesn't feel comfortable. It gives Les and Sadak very little to do, honestly. They have to sit behind these smokes when they are invested, and you certainly don't want to be the one swinging out of smokes. In terms of the retake here, the flank definitely feels like the safer bet. Same thing once again, though. See EG pistols to bring into this. 3 sheriffs, a couple of frenzies to maybe run someone down. Well, they might have had the orbital strike set up there, but maybe no confirmation on the stun or...
Okay. I want to see if Busio gets the timing right to maybe punish some of these players. Just going to be working towards his ult as well. This is just going to be a round of trying to get towards those ult orbs as well.
As I say, yeah, if Ethan actually gets Rolling Thunder on, the next round for EG looks very well equipped. Flashed over the top here, but less.
Doesn't find anything.
They've had no confirmation of presence outside here. Knife won't find anything either.
And maybe Busio going to try and sell him something over towards A, but you can see the intention from EG is going to be this eventual B finish. Les forced a little deeper here, challenge, and it's achieved. That's the ult invested to. Boombot going to get dealt with. He should be on red alert here. Sadak, there's nothing to deny the cross, so he can watch this one. They actually make it through Ethan. That was risky as hell, but he's going to make it there. Plant's going to go down. How much can they hold back here? Keep in mind, they only have that one rifle with Demon 1, but maybe in his hands, it might be enough. This end scurrying away. Demon 1's going to catch Kalanzine, and the flag from Busio. It's huge. Oh my God, EG. They had nothing but sheriffs, odds and ends, and one recovered rifle. And it's Aspas, one of the world's greatest, chasing down 4 players now. He's being given nothing, Mike. They're giving him no quarter now.
Just rifle in hand, but time ticking away here. Gonna find it. What a ridiculous read. The adjustment here on this B site here, they know that Les and Sadak are respecting it. They're giving it up. They're waiting time for this back line to be flanked. And the response here is, the phone line comes through, and Jorgamo finds it with the showstopper. Such a beautiful switch up. You can see Busio even relaying that information. He was like, yeah, I'm good for 2 potentially here. The orbital strike buys more time. Beautiful investment here from EG. I love the tiny switch up here.
Just having Busio in that spot is going to command a response. Now, they've broken the buy of Loud, so you're looking at what they've got as Sheriffs and a Guardian, so stacking out towards B. I want to see if EG do go for a fact-finding mission of their own, make sure they don't fall to this, because we've been seeing this aggression, and Aspas is closing in. That's the first. Good trade for Ethan, though, not going to let that get too out of hand. Going to spiral away until then. Kalanzine filling that void, taking down Busio. Maybe Loud are going to do it right back to him. A little bit more to this buy, but not a great deal. And then just going to slip away. They've done the damage. They can fall back towards the site.
It's strange here to see that. Obviously, Tui's on the other side of the map, but no smoke to come through to block off that angle just to the backside of Tree to really truly isolate that first player. Guardian and Sheriffs to work with here. But EG in a 3v4.
Yeah, I'm looking at Les as well. His timing is going to be interesting. If he decides to get a little more involved. They have the steps towards the side, but they want to maybe chase down one. Ethan's found Kalanzine. How do you get that? And now, look at the awareness as well. Turns around to have a little look for Les, but he's not there. Missing the timing, gives an opportunity. Les waits, he strikes. That could be a second. Not just yet. Calm's still alive. Okay. Not out of the woods just yet. Sadak and Tui still alive. Looking at this, still one smoke, one flash for Sadak, and he's closing the gap a little here. Looking for the chip damage. Doesn't get the reward. And now just Tui's. This is brutal. This is hard to try and work against. Another check. Com's good for it. Stability found for EG now. Up to 8. And they get past those threats. But that was stormy waters. Loud got super in their face.
Com is playing so confidently here. The ping on the recon, and he's running knife out towards tower to charge down that kill. It's ridiculous. And yes, in this round, Loud take the initiative, but again, it's mitigated so well by EG, and they win out in terms of the pivot. The mid-round here suits them perfectly. Like I said, maybe if Aspas lives off that initial play, there's a smoke behind, it's a little more protected. That could have gone a different way.
They've got the same stack almost, but with a buy behind it. A little bit of a switch of positions, and Aspas, this timing, it's rough for him now, down to 14, forced away. It's Kalanzine to punish towards Jorgamo. And Kalanzine going to double down on this, still start up, still wants more. Maybe overzealous in this, a little caught up, a little punish, and how is Ethan here? Yeah, even Aspas is surprised. Ethan taking so much space.
Have to respect the lockdown here. Flank for Tui's coming on the north side towards Arcade. The plant will be obtained. Some tools available. Another shock dart, still got the molly, and some nano swarms down, so Loud have to be quick about this. I'll just post preemptively.
They're just going to send it, and it's even if it's time bomb, but it's even a tag. Salak's gone down. Less than 2. He's that flank being noted. Ethan, super heads up. Still looking towards it, just sitting out of that traditional angle, tucked into the corner, but he's going for a hunt on this one. He wants a bit more. He's out for blood frenzies, and up for it. Ethan seals it, signs it, delivers it. EG, what a goddamn half.
Beautiful reaction as well from Ethan. He actually gets into the backside of underpass, actually all the way past Arcade. Loud leave the back door open, and the Rolling Thunder posted through. Results in a kill and leaves that B site once again on a platter. I mean, Loud just didn't have a response here. We didn't see enough versatility at all, Lauren.
And those questions hopefully will be answered on the desk where we're going to now.
Thank you very much, Pansy and HyperX. What a start to this game. Bala, EG are just so prepared on this map.
Yeah, this is a perfect map for them. I mean, they could get so many ults online and Calm is a demon with them, and the plan that Potter has with these ults is beautiful. Let's look at a bonus run, actually, that really catapulted them to having a massive lead in this game. The thing that they do here, they throw a molly for Boostio that lands all the way up in tower and completely separates the entire team on Loud and the entire setup for Loud. And Calm has farmed up his ult because of a really fantastic pistol round. Jogamo, in this situation, you might think that he's just, you know, doing normal things. He gets naded in, whatever. He's going to follow up and get a kill. Those players, why are they so separated? It's because of this. If you could pause right here on this ping, this guy gets 2 players at the same time as they've cleared out halls at the top of this right here. All this space in tower is completely covered. This is getting aftershocked, it's getting stunned at the same time, there's a nade going in, and you'll see on Sadak's POV, if you can start it again right here, 2 pings out of Calm. Both those players are now known. There's also a molly keeping them inside of this space. So Sadak's POV, it's just completely, I mean, what can you do in this space? He's like, okay, I'll just throw a nade. I'll do what I can. You see the aftershock. There's the Hunter's Fury. He has no room to move. And he actually walks back into that. And this is the type of thing that's just really, really nice to see from EG over and over.
And those are the preset ideas. They also had these rounds where it was really fast reactions with ult. They end the half with a breach ult coming in and forcing Loud into the EG players on the south side to punish them. One of their big priorities is collecting orbs on both sides of the map. And you saw towards the later part, Loud was trying to introduce some aggression to shut that down, but that was constantly getting punished. EG is so good at varying the pace.
I think Loud actually came into this strategically dealing with some of these ideas very well, but individually EG is just pounding.
Yeah, I mean, Loud, they have to dig a little bit deeper and find a next layer, Lauren, if they want to win this map. Let's see if they can.
You're right, there has to be more from Loud, right? We look at them as one of the best. There's no other way to phrase it. You kind of put them up there with Fnatic, you put them up there as one of the favorites coming into this event. And right now they have 3 rounds against EG, who scraped into this tournament. This could be the Cinderella run. We've been missing them for a while. But we wait and see. This is only the first half, best of 3. It's a long series. And Loud, more than capable of bringing this back into touching distance, but it has to start now.
Oh, set up here.
Set up.
All right, yeah. Looking to pinch immediately, but a little bit of chip damage done. Aspas will be down to 58 HP now, and definitely weakens the front line here. Jogman, re-clearance might find it. No, Sadak gets it.
They're so hungry for this pinch, though. They're almost tripling, doubling, over-committing in towards that, and Loud so ready on the other side, brawling it out. Yes, taking a lot of damage, but it needs something almost tragic to go wrong, and maybe the tragedy's in the hands of this man, not this time. Aspas overwhelms, takes the site. More than likely takes the round. Comp has had a wonderful performance, but this is a very tough situation.
Aspas 28, Sadak 22, Tui's 15. If he can find this first one, Les would be the one to fall first to make it doable, but Loud find the pistol.
Here we go.
EG very happy to take that engagement. I don't know if they feel like it's maybe 1 or 2 players, but spacing a little off. Jorgamo, yes, caught off guard, but second and third swings a little bit disjointed, which we haven't seen many examples of, to be honest with you. He took his time with that one.
The frenzy will still win.
Yeah.
It's inevitable. For this, though, looking back here, just the frenzy for Demon 1. That's it. Everyone else on classics. Actually, he doesn't even go for that. So, full on eco. Look at the buy coming out from Loud as well. Rifle straight up for Aspas. Guardian coming out for Kaunzin, and the rest just kind of filling the ranks. And just a bit of a walk back through. Now, the timing on this...
They're going to meet each other.
Yep. There shouldn't be a problem with this. The weaponry alone for Loud should be fine, but it's getting a little chaotic. Demon 1 gonna find one, Ethan finds another. Any more, and it would have been a question mark. For now, they can operate with 3, and that would be just fine. What does Boostio do with this?
They spotted Boostio at the start of the round, so reading into the fact he's rotated back through spawn here after taking a little bit of damage. Was there a Bulldog missing?
There was a Bulldog on the buy, so I don't know where that's gone. Kaunzian had it at the start. So
yeah.
I wonder if that's maybe Boostio's having a little bit of a glimpse, see what's about. Don't know if it's been. I don't know where that's gone. Neither does Boostio. So.
I mean, where the death marker is maybe fell over the side out of the map, but it's a big loss, to be honest with you. Obviously, you can throw away the pistols here, maybe even the Spectre. See if Boostio can get anything else done as well, to be honest with you.
Nah, not going to be. 3 alive. That's lovely for Loud. Just what they needed. It's not as clean as I'm sure they'd like, but at this point, you're closing in on that scoreline.
No,
That's
for
the
sure.
critical thing.
Yeah, with this purchase, again, you can give up 2 lives for sure. Like I said, it's tough that the Bulldog gets lost.
Yeah.
In that exchange.
That's where it was, so definitely. Yeah, up and over the edge. Bye-bye. So yeah, Kaunzian down to just the Sheriff. So yeah, that could have been nice to bolster this purchase a little more. They still have the 3 rifles out, so it's not the end of the world for here for Loud. Again, very competitive purchase coming into this match, or at least into this round.
Aspas barreling towards it, yeah. Way ahead of the curve here. No flash, no stun, nothing. Demon 1 will punish. So an early advantage here for EG. Spike not committed just yet. Sadak and Les to plant the seed here. Com's actually going to drone in this position. You got to be careful of that utility combo coming through.
Yeah, puts him down to 33. But he does get to keep his life, a little bit of support from CT, and they're responding quite quickly to this. Still going to have Jorgamo over towards Sand. Notice the player close, a little bit paranoid over towards Dish. No one's there.
Loud were ready to collapse here. They actually collected the spike and were ready to actually force their way onto 8. It did draw the rotation, though.
Yeah, just double-checking that no one had slipped up towards Sand just yet. They're still behind the door, so gives Jorgamo a little bit more of an angle to play with. Kaunzian, Sadak to his left. And a dry re-clear of this gives a fair fight to Jorgamo, and you can't be doing that. Down to 40, but he still fancies more, and he gets more. That's the 3rd for him this round. 4 still standing for EG. Can Tui's do some damage on this? This is rough for him. Does he get a fair fight? Demon 1 doesn't want it to be fair, but Tui's closing in a little bit. Being drawn in, has a little look towards Ethan, confirms the position. Com's got to be careful. Was put down a little lower as Tui's just step by step trying to clear through this. Yeah, he's being toyed with. This is rough. 13 seconds. Not many options in this now. And yeah, gets found. Demon 1. Good for it. Jorgamo though, Mike. Not bad. Not bad at all.
Again, just Sadak swings onto the angle as the fault line's coming in. Commits to the engagement, and Jorgamo, he's got a corner to tuck into. This was very bizarre. I don't know if Aspas is maybe thinking he's going to catch somebody on a jump peak or something, but like I said, no utility at all to provide pressure to that first angle that opens up. I think it just so happens that EG are stacked in a high-low there.
Okay, that's double digits for EG now. Big buy coming out though for Loud. What's the game plan now? Ethan, gonna spot Aspas. What's going on? What on earth is going on? This round is bizarre. EG just getting a little fast and loose with this. You can't be really doing that against Loud. I mean, same can be said, I guess, for Aspas flying through completely none the wiser. But while all this happens, while this little battle happens on Sand, they've slipped through towards the site.
EG maybe anticipating a rotation back towards B. Plant will come through. I think just in audible range here, the EG players all the way over in spawn. Some tools to work with. A smoke for Demon 1 and Molly, 1 off the orbital strike. Look at Jorgamo. Tons of utility to work with here.
They're going to price one of these players out. Some very deep positions, though. Loud, all safely getting away from the site. Jorgamo put them under pressure, though. They don't know this, though. Now they do. No one's on site. This is a really hard position to try and play up against. Loud are going to run that clock to perfection. Paranoia Scent doesn't catch. Jorgamo closing in. He needs to make sure he's got this, I don't know, on wraps somehow. Because there's still utility for Loud. They are defending this perfectly. They're basically making it impossible for EG, even in this situation. No time. Loud did enough in that post plant to get them up to 6.
Move everything, force a repurchase as well. Again, secondary objective achieved here. And even so, I didn't even actually spot that. It was still a snakebite in play for less. Did have the poison orb lined up, and aftershock to come through as well. So very tough for EG to actually pull off this retake.
Yeah. But also, I do have to put a little question mark towards Aspas in the last couple of rounds.
The start of that round was bizarre.
It was very strange, wasn't it?
Because there was investment this time around. It wasn't if it was just Aspas barreling onto, into A main. Really strange.
Loud, look at the pace on this. Yeah, absolute singular focus on this round. Gonna head on through, held back by that smoke though. It's enough for them to rethink this approach. I thought they might have just committed through that potentially.
I mean, what, 2 flashes, the knife invested, and it's not really won them anything if you look at the minimap. Posturing up as if that fast hit was going to come through, and now they're going to recontact back onto site.
Looks like it. And we can see the 2 players sat quite deep for EG. There is still one towards tower. It's going to be Jorgamo. D1 does have ult 2. Now quietly as they could, trying to get towards the site. Now here comes a Proflo, going to send them away, trying to isolate a few kills here. Jorgamo going to find County and retake towards the site here. Loud held at the door once again. Utility going to start dwindling as you can already see the pings coming out. They're starting to get the information now. The spike is down just from that verge of tower. Incredible reposition from Jorgamo, and the cross now gets punished. It's all on Aspas in a 1v3. This is wild for him. He needs to almost over-deliver here. They're starting to flood the site, get a little closer. Another tap on the spike. He ain't gonna get that fight. EG really offsetting the pace that Loud wanted, but also Loud looking a little hesitant on some of these.
Yeah, I don't know if that was just intended or if it was just the smoke that slowed them down. But recontacting here with such a huge investment, they have to wait for the knife to come back through. And
I love that reposition from him here, though. Just tucking in the corner, making them to work towards that spike.
Deals with the one player that crosses, and there's another question mark created for Loud to have to re-clear default, and nobody does. Very, very concerned with how some of these rounds in the second half have looked. Loud are just throwing something out to see what sticks, but seeing Aspas way ahead of the curve and
disconnected like that.
Disconnected from not just the rest of his team, but absent of any utility to support him to make such brazen plays in the early round.
I don't mind him being audacious. It's one of my favorite things to see a Neon well supported.
Remember,
exactly. It's like, this guy's one of the best in the world. He's still on 17-14. He's not having a bad game, but you want to see that kind of fit within the machine of it, right? You want to see that kind of supplemented, supported. It hasn't felt like it's got that synergy in the right place here. Some of that credit, sure, I'll put to EG, but a couple of these rounds have been, it looks like maybe a misplay, something that's just not quite right. And I do want to talk about this, and we'll talk bigger picture maybe after this map, because again, this is EG's choice, so they do look good here for now. Coming in cold to the playoffs is a conversation I want to have with you, especially for Loud. Now, I think we kind of talked about this at the start. We wouldn't put them as one of those teams who suffer that issue, but they're now presented potentially a map down going forward.
It looks like they actually are suffering from that issue, to be honest with you. This is very uncharacteristic, some of these rounds, the way... and again, this is not to discredit what EG are doing here on Fracture at all, but Loud look off their game. Yes, there's an adjustment period, sure, but...
Gotta get it going. We'll re-explore that once we get in towards map 2 here, because we're still not out of the game just yet. Loud have enough ults to be able to make something out of this round. Spray comes in, actually Com does connect towards Sadak. So this suddenly isn't going as easy as expected. EG, yeah, these positions are beautiful. So prepared for what Loud are going to do. It's clean. It's a Prime Gaming flawless to get to 12. EG looking near on untouchable here.
And Loud actually dump a couple of ultimates into that. Have the Rolling Thunder to work with, less 2 away from the pit, but see here, even catching Sadak here with that.
Spike down A.
1v5. He came in.
Oh,
let's go, Corbin. I killed
Yeah, 12-6 now.
One more. One more and the map 1 is theirs, right? That's such a hurdle to get past. Against Loud, pull this into context.
It's not close either.
It hasn't been. It's leaving me with so many worries for Loud bigger picture, but for now we focus on this round. Round 19, 6-12, EG are in control, but Sadak has a lot of room to play with here. It's north side space for EG. They prioritized this. And Demon 1 starts to come back through. He has no idea that Sadak's this deep. Oh my god, this guy! Apparently doesn't make a blind bit of difference, but look at the response though. It's quite quick. They're going to head right back over towards B. Loud leaning into this now.
This is almost what EG want, though. Look at the ultimates here. The lockdown, the Hunter's Fury, the Rolling Thunder, all available. And an early advantage created by EG.
And the ult sent back through from Cowanzine finds nothing. No one was even close to CT, but we wait. Let's see what this pack of 3 can find, kind of filtering through that southern side. Loud going to try and set up their best defenses here.
They're reflanking to put down the attacker lockdown in underpass. There's the awareness there from Loud. Couple of players positioned towards Arcade. They can get on the outside of this.
Here we go. There go the alarm bells. They're ringing. They're going to handle this.
Hunter's Fury behind this as well.
And the combo coming in from Ethan though. Can they get this one started? Oh, the cross gets caught. Big shot and a bigger follow-up. Aspas, he's not out of it yet. This is still a great hold from him. Jorgamo is on the defuse though, tagged up but not going to be stopping just yet. Aspas is doing so much damage and it's all just come. This one slipped between their fingertips. There's a little bit of that magic we know that Loud have.
First round that actually feels like Loud withstand the game plan from EG.
Convincing round for me.
Again, set up perfectly to get on the outside of that lockdown, and I was surprised we didn't actually see the combo. Maybe it happened off screen, but these are the sort of rounds where, like I said, they play perfectly into EG's game plan, and there's usually a Hunter's Fury behind this to clear up on the outside of the lockdown. Big round from Aspas, though.
Yep. If he starts activating, it does get scary. Guy's movement's so gorgeous when you watch him play, like, wow. I've missed watching that man work. Let's see what he's up to this time around, though. We've kind of seen that kind of, I guess, almost overheated times, a little bit overzealous in some of these approaches to the site, but for now, taking a little bit more of a different route, a little bit more cautious, a little bit more passive. You can see EG on the other side responding by taking map control, so already going to clear through that northern side.
Jorgamo might even catch Cowanzine and Aspas on the backside of this.
This is purely a timing game. I want to see from that northern side, that perspective coming in from Jorgamo. Okay, he's got contact, but he didn't get the kill. So that's one thing, that's a small bonus, but he's actually going to double down on the chase here. They want to try and connect towards this. They get out with their lives though, and Com going to burn the ult for this too. There's the tag that he was looking for. But now the cross is going to be made. Good timing from the Molly to come down, but Booster the one to find Sadak. The site is not safe at all. Aspas forced away. He's got so many problems. Oh, and Jorgamo is the biggest one of them all, making issues for Loud and leaving them in tatters. Less is all that's standing. It's the 5 of EG. How much can he achieve out of this one? The spike is 1,000,000 miles away, and so is map 1 for Loud. Beautiful from EG, holding on to this Cinderella run now.
The confidence continues to flow here for EG. Loud, I gotta say it, a couple of rounds there where they just looked a little stunned, a little shocked. Lacking answers in the first half, and in the second, I don't know if it's frustration coming into a few of these, but definitely got to keep that in check here. This is a familiar opponent here.
It is. But again, we talk about the capabilities that come with being a favored side, an experienced side. All of that Loud still has. They still have that pedigree, that ability to go backstage, take a moment, mentally reset, come back in. Their map next, it's Ascent. I mean, this map sits with them so perfectly. Yes, EG have done damage on this. It's not a bad map for EG, but still, it's going to be a reminder you can never write Loud out. But EG deserve a lot of credit for this map, Mike.
Absolutely, yeah, and we see them execute the same sort of set pieces we saw previously versus DRX, but then on top of that, a couple of the players really actually excelling beyond that, coming out in gunfights in 1vx situations. Demon 1, man, that clutch early on was ridiculous.
Yes.
Completely forgot about that until we saw it in the replay there.
Yeah.
So yeah, very few positives, very few, you know, rounds that Loud can really pin onto in terms of successes here. And EG actually winning out in some of the adjustments beautifully in the first half.
This could be one of the bigger upsets of the tournament so far. They've taken the first steps towards it. We're not
Loud's
there yet.
opening game.
This is their debut on the stage. Last international affair for them didn't go so well. So a little bit of a reminder, maybe a little bit of a nightmare reoccurring here. But they're going to be having it with their eyes wide open, and EG carrying on from the group stage. This has been a very good confidence builder here for EG. This will get them knowing, hey, playoff stage, just the same as those groups for us. We can keep doing this. Ascent is a different beast, Mike. This could be where Loud bring back the game. They have the pedigree, they have the reputation for a reason, and you at home do not want to miss it.
Have you ever asked yourself,